guess when I came to being a composer, which happened much, much, much later, I knew how a rehearsal room worked. I knew what a director's process was. I knew how actors worked. And I was just used to being in those rooms.
What was your first touch point with theatre?
When I was 15, I was doing Hamlet at the National Theatre.
Yeah.
Daniel Day-Lewis, Judi Dench.
Just name drops.
Richard
Just name
Eyre.
drop. Name drop.
I know, it was crazy. Everyone's experiencing this for the very first time. We're never going to have another moment like this. And then it just occurred to me that the first thing that was going to happen in this theatre was that a big music cue would play, a big rock music cue that I'd written, and the lights went down and we're off.
Welcome to the Bridge Theatre podcast, where we meet the people who make the magic happen. On stage, backstage, and everywhere in between. We'll find out what their first passion with theatre was, the moments that made them, and even what their fantasy production would be if they could create one themselves. I'm Pauline Fallowell, your host, so get comfy and we'll get started. In this episode of the podcast, we'll be talking to Grant Olding. He's a composer of TV, film and theatre. He's specifically worked with us here at the Bridge Theatre since the very beginning on our very first production of Young Marx, as well as Richard II, Midsummer Night's Dream, Book of Dust, to name a few. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us for this episode of the podcast.
My pleasure.
So Grant, I know you because I've fangirled you since One Man, Two Governors, which I had the privilege to work on, and still sing that classic song, London to Brighton Line, every time I'm on that train. But you've also done so many wonderful things at the Bridge. And again, we've been talking to so many people that have been here since the beginning, and you've been here since the beginning, which is also a joy. Do you want to say who you are and what you do? Yeah,
I'm Grant Olding. I'm a composer working mainly in theatre, which I've been doing for the last 22 years. And I suppose my job is to just help tell the story. And music is my way of contributing to that.
Wow. And you do it, as you say, range, theatre?
Yeah, theatre, film, TV, musicals, dance.
Wow.
All sorts, yeah. Yeah, but theatre is my first love, and that's what I keep coming back to, and it's what I enjoy the most, for sure.
I was going to ask that. I love that theatre was that your first dive into this world of composing as well?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I did many years of just doing theatre, and then I started working in TV and film. But what I love about theatre is just that it's, you're in the room with the people making the thing. So you can very quickly have a conversation about whether something's working or not, and you can see, immediately it's there in front of you whether something is working. And so it's much easier for everyone to be on the same page trying to make the same piece, whereas in film and TV you're often spread around, and it's difficult to know if you're all making the same. You might be making a great score, but is it the score that's going to work to the version that the director wants, and all that kind of stuff.
Have you sometimes inspired the action on stage as much as the other way around?
I suppose these days I do tend to get music into the rehearsals quite early.
Great.
Richard II here was one where we got music in really early on, and I think it was quite helpful to the actors because the vision that Nick had for it wasn't necessarily obvious in the script, and I think everyone could, and there was no real set to speak of either to kind of give you any clues. So something that you could stick in the room that would say, this is the kind of world we're in, this is the kind of story we're telling, and this is the kind of sheen we're putting on it, was actually, I think, quite useful for the actors, yeah.
I feel like music has really got, it always does have a moment with people, but more and more people watch things online and they deliberately either change the music or don't have music. And it is amazing, isn't it, how it changes the mood completely and changes the way people view things. The amount of times I've watched something and they've been like, I've put the soundtrack of this on it, and you're like, that means such a different thing now. So it is such an important job.
There was a thing a few years ago where, do you know the film Drive?
Yes, yeah.
They did a whole, I can't remember what it was, Radio 2 did a rescoring of that film. They took that phenomenal soundtrack off and just put on different pieces of music, different, like what we call needle drops, existing pieces of music.
Yeah.
And they broadcast it on BBC. I sat down I was furious about it.
Yeah.
Because someone worked really hard on that. It's a really great score, and the music supervisor choosing the pieces of needle drops that go in that work brilliantly. And I sat down to watch it, and I just thought it was terrible. It just missed the whole point. all the tension, all the moments of tension had gone. It's someone who'd done it hadn't really understood the filmmaking process. And I remember it was in the days of Twitter.
Yes, the days of Twitter.
The days of Twitter when I still had a Twitter account, and I was furiously typing away about this. And I remember BBC phoning me and saying, "Do you want to come on BBC News and talk about this?" I was like, "Oh, actually, I really don't want to."
I'm happy at Twitter.
I'll just.
Did many people jump on it though on Twitter? Because you had quite a good following on Twitter.
I think it did irritate people. I mean, what irritated me is that some people loved it. Of course, some people thought it was a bit better because their favourite tunes were in it. But it just it wasn't cohesive. It didn't have a vision. It was. There were good songs and good pieces of music, but they didn't, it's about trying to marry what's happening on stage or on the screen with the music and making the music really support the action.
This passion is amazing. Like every time I speak to people, the passion that comes across of what they do, and the fact that you're saying theatre was your first love. Where did that come from? What was your first touch point with theatre?
Well, do you know, I saw, when I was 5 years old, I went to see Oliver, the musical Oliver.
Amazing.
In the West End, at the Albury Theatre, which is now the Noel Coward Theatre.
Yeah.
And it was a Cameron Mackintosh revival of Oliver with Roy Dotrice as Fagin and the original set, that amazing Sean Kenny set. And I sat there in the audience and I just was lost in it.
I was quite young as well to go and see a big musical.
Yeah, but I was already dancing actually. So I started dancing. I went to dancing lessons from the age of 3. Wow. So I already kind of had that. I was very, very shy child, very quiet, very, very shy. But I had a kind of performing instinct, which was being kind of watered. And I saw that, and I just think the fact that it had kids in it. And they were getting to play on this amazing set and getting to wear those amazing costumes and sing the fantastic score. I went home and we got the original cast recording on vinyl, and I just listened to that and listened to that and listened to that and watched the film and pored over this souvenir brochure that I had. And
do you still have it?
I do still have that souvenir brochure, yeah.
I love that.
And then like 5 years later, I saw an advert in the newspaper saying revival of Oliver at the Aldwych Theatre in the West End, starring Ron Moody, the original Fagin, looking for boys to be workhouse boys and Fagin's gang. And I was like, I have to go to this. I have to go to this. And my parents took me out of school for the day. We bunked off school. We went up to the Aldwych Theatre, and the kids were queuing around the block. There were hundreds and hundreds. My sisters had been saying, for God's sake, don't take him. He'll just embarrass himself. He can't sing.
Sounds like sisters.
Yeah, he's too, because I hadn't sung in front of anyone. He's too quiet, he's too shy. But I'd actually done a play at the National Theatre at that point. When I was 7, I did Danton's Death at the National Theatre with Brian Cox and a Jim Henson film. So I was already kind of.
And were you acting, dancing?
Acting in that, yeah. Well, I mean, I was in a few scenes, didn't have any lines. I was in a few scenes. So I felt very comfortable on stage and in a theatre. So I turned up and I was shy, but when I got into the theatre, I was like, I feel comfortable here. I feel at home on this stage. I wasn't fazed by that. And they said, sing, Food, Glorious Food and Consider Yourself. And I just knew those songs so well because I've been singing them to myself. And they whittled it down through the day, and I ended up getting in the show. And there was only 12 of us. In those days, there were one team of 12 boys.
Yeah.
And to do that show with Ron Moody and it was that same Sean Kenny set, amazing set, in town, was just extraordinary.
How long did you do it for?
It ran for like 6 weeks over Christmas.
Oh wow! So actually, a really nice little run as well for
Yeah, it was a tour that had been going on, and various people had been doing Fagin on tour, and then he brought it into town, put Ron Moody in for the tour. It was the same tour cast, the same Artful Dodger, who went to Broadway later with the show. Him and Ron Moody went to Broadway with the show later, to play with Patti LuPone as Nancy. Extraordinary. It was an amazing experience.
Oh my gosh!
And that was my kind of first.
Did you appreciate the kind of gravitas of that, like at the time? Did you really know what you were doing?
Not really, no.
Yeah.
I was just having fun and watching amazing. But you know, my childhood was full of those extraordinary. Because I then continued to work as an actor throughout my whole childhood, so I was constantly in the room with ridiculous talent and ridiculous grown-ups.
Yeah. It's almost better to do it that way, though, isn't it? Because then you don't have that kind of like awe of them. You're just like, oh, they're another actor or another.
And I guess when I came to being a composer, which happened much, much, much later, I knew how a rehearsal room worked.
Yeah.
I knew what a director's process was. I knew how actors worked. And I was just used to being in those rooms.
What wonderful parents to also, like, you know, I have a little one and I'm like, would I allow him on stage? Like,
They loved it.
Did they?
I mean, they loved it. My dad would chaperone me, and you know, he was working in a factory, doing double glazing, and he was a tool maker.
Yeah.
And he would, you know, come in. I was doing when I was 15. I did Hamlet at the National Theatre.
Yeah, yeah.
Daniel Day-Lewis, Judi Dench.
Just name drops.
Richard
Just name
Eyre.
drop. Name drop.
I know, it was crazy. It was crazy. And my dad used to come straight from work and chaperone me there. And then he'd go into his mates at the factory, very blokey factory, the next day and talk about what the dressers had been saying to him and what Judi Dench had done wrong on stage last, you know, and how they'd been naughty and how they'd all been, you know. They loved it. They loved it.
And such a grounding thing to have them in that sort of job in the background, because actually they weren't then elevating you, or I'm assuming, but it's that lovely thing to have. I say normal, but you know, that kind of normal background in that way.
My mum, when I did this film when I was 7, it was called The Dark Crystal.
Yeah.
Big old film, Jim Henson film. Huge amount of money on these puppets on screen. All this. I was running around in the costume of the main gelfling when he was running around, had legs. It was me. And my mum said to Jim Henson, "Is this like a B film?" It's like all of this. She was very grounding.
Wow.
Yeah.
But that's amazing. I'll be honest, I obviously do, like, I was like, oh, I know Grant from da-da-da, but it's so amazing to unpack, like, these lives that different people have had.
Yeah. No, my whole life has been in the only thing I know is theatre.
I love that.
Sure.
I bet you have the most amazing, like, photo albums of just you with these. Did you manage
freak
to record
child.
it all?
Yes, there's lots of pictures of me posing.
Amazing.
Bit of a freak child.
No, that's great. My gosh. Well, I'm now really excited about what our next question where it will lead us.
Okay.
So, fantasy theatre. If you could draw from all of this experience, all these things, I mean, what would you personally put on? What would you like to see?
Well, it's got to be a musical, because that's why I became a composer, was to write musicals.
Yep.
And if it's going to be a musical and I'm not writing it, then it's going to have to be a Sondheim musical.
Great.
Because there's no one better.
What is it that you like about Sondheim?
I
know he's quite diversive, but
he just writes for actors. I think that's the thing that I appreciate. And as a composer, what I appreciate is the levels, the subtext that he puts in the music, and the thought and the care and the craft in each song and in each theme. Everything is actually, as an actor, it's the easiest thing to perform, because it's all there for you. You just need someone to help you. You don't have to dig very hard to find the gold, because it's all the information you need is in the music. So that's why I love Sondheim. This piece that I want to put on is not actually my favourite Sondheim piece, probably, but is the first piece of Sondheim that I came into contact with, and so it means a lot to me. Sweeney Todd. Mm-hmm. Brilliant piece of musical theatre. At the Bridge.
Yes.
So imagine this. At the Bridge Theatre, immersive production.
Great.
So the audience they're buying the meat pies at the top of Act 2. They're having their meat pies in the audience. They're being invited up on stage to be shaved by Sweeney.
You can imagine the smell, can't you, of all those meat pies being cooked?
They're the audience when Pirelli's doing his Miracle Elixir song. When Toby is getting involved. When Sweeney has his breakdown and the epiphany, he goes into the audience. You, sir, how about a shave? He's talking to people in the audience. So very immersive.
Oh my God, that would be terrifying.
Director is of course Mr. Heitner, because I don't think now, and apologies Nick if I've overlooked something glaring me in the face here, but I don't think he's directed a Sondheim before. I can't think of one.
I don't think he has either.
Which seems extraordinary.
I'm equally going to get told off if I've got that wrong, but I'm pretty sure you're right with that.
I can't think of one, and that seems extraordinary to me, because
Yeah.
the idea of those two brains,
Yeah.
Nick working on a Sondheim would just be extraordinary. Because he's so forensic,
Yeah.
and Sondheim is so forensic.
Yeah.
So then I'm in the room as well, because I have to be part of it, because there's no way that I'm letting this show go on. So I'm going to MD the thing.
Oh, great.
Yeah, because also the most fun part of putting on a show is the rehearsals.
Yeah.
It's the 5 weeks you get to spend in a rehearsal room. So, I mean, like I say, I'm ready to go on this.
Great.
A spot opens up next year.
Well, we're always
the whole
looking
thing
for
is,
new things.
yeah, the whole thing is done. So set and costume.
This is actually a pitch for
This is a pitch.
future work.
It totally is. It totally is. Set and costume, Grace Smart, who I worked with recently at the Globe.
Yeah.
Who's totally brilliant, and she can conjure up such a kind of cohesive world with a few gestures.
Yeah.
And it just feels all of a piece. I think she's super clever and a brilliant person to be around. So she's designing it.
Brilliant.
Anna Watson, lighting, brilliant lighting designer.
This really is a
paints
fantasy
with,
theatre. I love
Yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah. No,
You've
I've
got
got-
it.
I can
it's
go-
like your football team. It's like fantasy
It
theatre
is.
football team, but go on.
yeah, I can go right down to the covers and the ensemble. And
Yeah,
if
great.
you
Keep
want-
going. Keep going.
Anna Watson paints with light, and she just makes beautiful atmospheres, and is again a lovely person to be in a room with. On sound design, Carolyn Downing, again one of my favourite sound designers. Fantastic set of ears,
Yeah.
great taste,
Where have you
very
worked with her
detailed.
before?
We did Richard II here.
Yeah, I was going to say she's a bridge. I was like, I know that name. She's a bridge person. Which one does she
Yeah, I did a fantastic production of Twelfth Night with her, Jonathan Mumby directing, which was just a wonderful, wonderful production. And I'd done a show at the RSC with her as well, Fantastic Follies of Mrs. Rich. She's brilliant.
do? Amazing.
Fights, of course, Combat Kate Waters, of course.
Of
I mean,
course.
there's no one better, and she's also just the loveliest person.
Yeah.
And she can do anything from slapstick, fencing, minor scuffles, big dramatic stuff that looks really realistic.
Yeah.
She's brilliant.
And
she's
so
brilliant.
collaborative within this world of.
Yeah, just whatever's right for the moment.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Who else have I got? Choreography.
Ooh.
Yeah. Drew McConey, who's just one of my besties.
You've obviously done Jekyll and Hyde with Drew.
Yeah, we've done 3 or 4 things together. Jekyll and Hyde, Merlin, a ballet, which is out again later this year.
Oh, amazing.
And the first show I met him on, Drunk, a musical I did with him at the Bridewell and at Leicester Curve. And the first thing we did together was James and the Giant Peach. What Drew would do is, in listening to the orchestration, he would find details in it that you'd put in, and he'd make drama out of them in a way that I'd never seen a choreographer do before.
Wow.
So he would find reasons for the music
Yeah.
and translate that into movement. So before that, I'd work with choreographers and I'd be, can't the actors just stand still and sing? Because when they move, they don't sing as well, and it's just better if they stand still and sing.
Yeah.
As soon as I met Drew, I was like, can they dance more, please? Just make them dance, because he was just finding stuff in there that I'd kind of buried, and he would find reasons for it, which made total sense with the action. So he's also, a lovely man.
I love that different people hear different things in music, and I think he obviously hears it,
That's it.
in that way. Because I don't know how do you hear music? Like, it's that fascinating thing, because I don't often listen to lyrics. Because I trained as a dancer way back when, so I often hear steps instead of actually hearing the lyrics, because I'll be going, oh yeah, that's a click ball change, not quite like that, but you know what I mean, like that's a ball change, leap, spin, and actually I don't necessarily hear what the lyrics are.
Right.
Do you hear it in a different way, or do you?
I suppose I do. I mean, I'm really
Again, you were a
lyric
dancer,
driven.
weren't you?
I
Yeah.
was, yeah. And so, I'm really lyric driven. I really listen for lyric and orchestration. But when we were doing the ballet together, obviously I wrote the score for that before Drew staged it. So I choreographed a whole ballet. I could dance. I mean, I was frequently dancing it around my kitchen. And so, I'm really specific with what I write, and I have to kind of see it. Or so if I'm working on a play, I'll be directing it in my head or acting it, or I come from a place of music last, actually. So
Oh.
I tackle it from every other standpoint first, and then just translate that through music.
Yeah.
But that's not how, I don't really think of music first.
Yeah.
I think of what the stage needs, and then how can I make that support through music.
I love that. Well, that's what theatre is. It's working everything together. Otherwise, we'd all be, I often think the best things, I think I've said this before, the best thing is where you almost don't notice something because it's not standing out for a wrong reason. It's just harmoniously coming together. There's some things you've gone and you're like, really notice the lighting on that. And it's like, that wasn't a good thing. It was just because it was so stark and so like in your face and so out of sync.
And I love those processes where they're so collaborative that you've got license to kind of get into other people's lanes a bit, have a suggestion about a movement or whatever, or at least you can say, actually that I don't understand that. That makes no sense to me, or that's a conflict for me.
Yeah.
I love those kind of where it's a bit messy.
Yeah.
And someone can have ideas about music and come to me with them, or come to the actors with them.
And
or
you
the
open with that. You open if someone just came to you and went, oh, by the way, that bit I'm not really getting.
Yeah, absolutely, because it's about everyone coming together to make this thing, And if you're working with great people and you trust their instincts, then you should always listen to them. I think we can disagree about what the details mean, but they mean something. So if you're going to interpret them, then that's fantastic. I think that's how I came to it with Drew.
I love that. So we've done Drew. Sorry, your creative team.
So that's the creative team,
beautiful,
is it?
Beautiful.
There we
Casting.
go.
Have you done that one?
Oh, of course, yeah. Casting. What do we need?
This is a full pitch.
It totally is. So for Sweeney, I mean, I've seen it sung very well.
Have you seen lots of versions of it?
I've seen lots of versions of it. Yeah. I've seen it sung very well, and that's pretty dull. I've seen it acted really well, and that's terrifying.
Yeah.
As a musician, you sit there and you just think, oh God, this is not going well. So you do need someone that can do both. It leans heavily on the acting. And my pitch is Rory Kinnear.
Oh, we love Rory Kinnear.
Wouldn't he be brilliant? Because he can really sing. He's a very good musician.
Do you know what? Oh yeah, of course he can sing. He's just been in the Sondheim, hasn't he?
Totally sings.
Yeah.
And he plays piano. He's a musician.
Wow.
And he's a fantastic actor. I just think he would be a really thrilling Sweeney. As Mrs. Lovett, I've gone for someone who I just think she's a brilliant, one of our best actresses. Often overlooked, I think, but she's a genius. Anna Francolini, who has, for Lovett, I think you need an enormous technical ability, because there's so much. The music is like quicksilver; it just changes all the time, and you need a brain that can kind of do that musically and just dramatically. Comedy chops she's got in spades. She's a fantastic singer. Lucky enough that she's been in 2 musicals of mine, and to have her interpret your work is a joy, because she's just detail.
Wow.
She'd be brilliant.
And they'd work together lovely as well, wouldn't they?
Would be brilliant.
You also need that chemistry, don't you, between those 2 characters and having.
And she's got the ambition. I can see that kind of cold ambition, and those kind of set pieces. Would both of them together would just be amazing.
Gosh, yeah.
So working down.
Oh.
Now Anthony is next. We need a time machine for this.
Yep, this is allowed. This is
okay,
completely
like
time
machine,
fantasy.
Not that the actor I'm suggesting is still very much still alive and going strong and still brilliant, but a bit old now for Anthony.
Fair.
It's a little bit too old. So I suggest we go back in time and grab Hadley Fraser when he was in his kind of early 20s and bring him back for Anthony.
Brilliant.
I just think he's a brilliant leading man, fantastic singer, amazing singer, great actor. Again, another lovely, because you want lovely people.
Yes, always.
If you're going to be in a rehearsal room for 5 weeks, you want beautiful people to be coming to work with. So there we go. Joanna, we need a time machine again, and we also need a visa, because I'm going to Broadway.
The visa's easier.
Okay. We're going back in time to Broadway, and we're getting Audra McDonald.
Oh.
Because who wouldn't want to hear Audra McDonald sing those songs? I mean, and as an interpreter of songs, in a part that can often be insipid and a bit dull, she's bring something to it.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Totally classy, amazing. And her and Hadley together would just be amazing. Again, he would, because that part is often wet and not very interesting, he would make something interesting in it. Okay, I'm continuing on.
I love this.
Pirelli.
Yep. You see, you know this way better than me. I've seen a few versions, but
Pirelli, the barber who gets killed in Act 1.
Okay,
Big number. Echo Quarti, who I've just worked with last year at the Globe.
Yes.
Played Benedict in Much Ado About Nothing. Fantastic actor. Unbelievably charming, clever, good singer. He would do something brilliant with Pirelli. With the Beadle, same deal. I'm going back to the Globe. George Fouracres, who's playing Falstaff there at the moment.
Okay.
Brilliant comedian, brilliant actor. There was a fantastic production of Sweeney Todd at the National in the early 90s.
Okay.
Judy Mackenzie being brilliant, Alan Armstrong. And the Beadle in that production was played by Barry James, who turned this part, which was always just a kind of fat man with a high voice, into this really grotesque, greasy creature.
Yeah.
Menacing and twisted, and he really turned the part into something new. And I think George would do a similar sort of thing. He would take this and make something of it.
Because do you see the set now?
Yeah,
is it like a modern day kind of? Yeah. It's not going back and doing it all in like.
No, I don't think so. That's a bit dull.
Yeah, fair. Because actually,
and then
all
you can
those
use
people,
the audience as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say all these people feel like it brings this to life in a different way and twists. I mean, we don't want to step on the director's toes too much right now, but
we'll listen to him. We'll see what he has to say.
And then we'll go, well, we think we've already got this, so yeah.
And then my final cast member is Tobias, a lovely part. The young Tobias sings "Nothing's Going to Harm You, Not While I'm Around."
It's one of the
Brilliant. And I just thought, and I was thinking, oh, I'm just get an unknown. And then on the train on the way here today, I thought, oh, do you know who would be really, really good? Is young Dominic Semwanga, who is our flute in Midsummer Night's Dream at the moment. Wouldn't he be brilliant? I think he's really special, and he's a great singer, great musician, a really fresh talent, really interesting, inventive young actor, and he's just got the kind of innocence and vulnerability for Tobias. I think he would be utterly heartbreaking and brilliant. So that's my, there we go. I'm ready to roll.
That is amazing.
Yeah, I'm ready to roll.
Do you find you have such a vision with things? Because that is such a vision. Like, you've obviously really gone, that's it. It's not kind of like, are you that person that goes,
I've got 5 other ones in there. Because genuinely, when you ask that question, I'm like, well, I could do this, we could do that, we could do that, we could do that.
Are they all musicals?
Yeah, they're all musicals,
Yeah. Go on. Don't need to go into the details.
Oh, I've forgotten the one.
Oh!
I'm sorry, I've forgotten someone.
How dare you?
The Judge Turpin.
Oh, yeah.
Judge Turpin, because this is a good casting
You can tell
choice.
I don't know the Sweeney Todd well enough. I'm going crap.
Now, Judge Turpin, a terrifying part, and he gets that brilliant duet with Sweeney Todd, Pretty Women, and he gets the Mea Culpa number where he's whipping himself. Horrible character. Mandy Patinkin, now. Patinkin now, or maybe 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But obviously he used to be a tenor, but the part is a bass. But his voice is now in the right kind of range.
Yeah.
I just think Patinkin with that kind of.
That's a great. We've not seen him for a while, I feel.
Not on stage, no.
And we've obviously got Into the Woods coming
Into the Woods
here,
coming, but he's not directing it.
Yeah, because.
I'd like to see his Sweeney Todd. I'd like to see. When I say his Sweeney Todd, I mean our Sweeney Todd.
Yeah, I was going to say involved in a.
I'd love to see his Assassins as well.
Ooh, that's.
I'd like to see. What else? I'd like to see Sunday in the Park as well.
Yes.
Do a good Sunday in the Park.
I'll talk to you about it. Any Sondheim, basically.
Yeah, as long as I'm carving it, it's okay.
As long as you're going to be amazing.
Yeah. Anyway, there we go.
Oh, I love that. What were the other? Were they all Sondheims?
No, they weren't all Sondheims. I did have my first thought was, and this was only because, and this is why I remember Mandy Patinkin, because I thought the last 5 years, with with a young Mandy Patinkin and a young Patti LuPone.
Oh.
Can you imagine them? Can you imagine Patinkin singing?
Why did no one do that back in the day?
Back in the day, Mandy Patinkin singing "Moving Too Fast."
Yeah.
And Patti LuPone doing those numbers. I mean, it would be extraordinary to watch.
This is what AI can do sometimes. Someone will AI this now, and we'll be like,
idea.
that'd be terrifying.
That really would be terrifying.
But
Oh
that
my
is what we
God.
can now do with technology, which is probably, let's not encourage people to do that right now. We want live theatre. We want
yes.
We want these people. We want time machines rather than
Exactly. That's right. That's right.
Can we move past AI to time machines?
And I think because like last 5 years, I think, you need. I've got a parade as well. But anyway, there's. I think last 5 years you need to be. You need some amazing actors to make that material interesting actually, because otherwise it's just songs.
Yes.
If you've got really fantastic people that can dive down into it and make something of it, then I think it can be a really, really interesting musical. Those two, I'd pay money to see them too do it back in the day.
They are brilliant.
Yeah, they are. They are.
Yeah. Well, love that. And I love that it's going to be at the Bridge. But let's come back to like where we've been with the Bridge and where you've been with the Bridge. Let's talk about, is there been a standout moment here, for good or bad? Has you had like a moment here that you've just been like, wow, this sums up the Bridge or sums up my love for theatre? Or
Oh God, there's so many to be honest. The last kind of 4 shows I've done here in particular, Richard II, Midsummer's Dream, Book of Dust, and Christmas Carol, which all had loads of music and really kind of where music was a really useful tool in those shows. Those have been very special. Christmas Carol was really special because we made that during lockdown.
Yes.
And I can remember standing here with Nick when people were coming in one by one and they had to, at times and they were scanned for temperature they had to go straight to their seats.
All their seats had been like put in like little separate bunches so that you.
It actually felt great. It felt great, but it was also sad. And I can remember Nick just saying, "Oh, I can't wait till we have proper audiences here again." But it felt really important that we were making something at that point, and it was a fantastic show. That was
the main. I remember throughout that period, that was the main drive for all of the people here. It was like we just want to be making and. Looking after is the wrong word, but and bringing the freelancers and everyone, our extended family in with that, because we were so aware there were so many people just sort of almost adrift at that point, because we were all adrift, and it was just a way of bringing us all back again.
And the Bridge was fantastic at that. Just even on a personal level, people keeping in contact with you and just we were supposed to go into rehearsals on Book of Dust actually when it was the next show after Southbury Child had just gone into rehearsals when the first lockdown hit, and obviously it happened like a year later.
Yeah.
But I remember the team just keeping in contact with us and making sure we're okay.
Yeah.
But the moment for me that really stands out from the Bridge is the opening of it, the first show, because I'd opened a theatre before, actually, had a show that had opened a theatre, and it's a really difficult thing.
Yeah.
It's a really difficult thing to get right. And I've been working on a show that was opening just the week before we opened Young Marx.
Oh, wow.
Which was really difficult. Really difficult show, not an easy show at all.
Wow.
It was tough. And then we came to Young Marx and thinking this could be really difficult, prepared for it. Yeah. And it was just the easiest thing. I don't know how it was from your point of view, from my point of view, the easiest thing in the world. And I just remember Nick walking around taking selfies and taking pictures of it, and his speech to everyone on that first tech session on stage where he was crying and we were all crying, and him and Nick Starr. It was so wonderful to see this thing that they've been talking about for so long actually happen. And then we're putting on a play, and we're putting on a new play, and that's a difficult thing in itself. And you're doing it in a new theatre, so you've got to, does the building work? Does the stage machinery work? Do the flyers work? How's the comm system? How, is there RF over everything? How's the sight lines for the DSM? And then you've got a building you're opening as well. Are there enough toilets? Are the exits in the right place? How does the bar work? How do the ushers? There's so much to kind of coordinate. And I remember sitting in the audience of the first preview with all these people thinking, well, here we are. This is it. Everyone's experiencing this for the very first time. We're never going to have another moment like this. Yeah. How special. And then it just occurred to me that the first thing that was going to happen in this theatre was that a big music cue would play, a big rock music cue that I'd written, inspired by kind of Iggy Pop and that kind of new wave music. And the lights would go down and the play would start. And I was really honoured and moved by that, thinking that the first thing that will happen in this theatre is a big old music cue of mine will start. Yeah. And then the music came in, the lights went down, and we're off.
You literally set the tone.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that, but it was exciting. It was a privilege to be part of, and It was a great show. Yeah.
It's so, because also so many people have had different versions of that day, as you've just said, like everyone had a different viewpoint from it. Mine was just amazed because at the time I'd been in charge of the ticketing and the website and the audiences, like the fact that people actually turned up, like I was like, oh, all of that worked and they all got their tickets and they've all sat down in a seat, like that to me was just remarkable. I was almost like, is this magic? But the fact that I had, you know, you almost don't think of it from your point of view or, you know, any other of the creatives or actors, because as you say, like to sit there and be like, wait a minute, kind of surreal out-of-body experience. The first thing that this first audience is hearing is something that is personal to you, like your thing.
Yeah.
That's amazingly special.
Yeah, it was incredibly special. And then the next day I moved to Wales.
Just big life events.
So, which I thought was a really cute idea. Moved the day after press night, moved to Wales. In
fact,
that
press night was a good press night.
It was a good press night, and I was not in a good state the next day to move to Wales. It was a really long journey as well. But yeah, so that was really, and I'm just, you know, it's been so great to come back and feel part of the family here, you know.
And you are. Well, hopefully you feel like that. Well, feel like that. Well, I love that. Thank you for sharing. I mean, this question I've asked a few people and I've kind of thought maybe I'll get this sort of answer from them. I have no idea what you would be if you weren't currently sitting in front of me being who you are now. Like, where would you be if theatre hadn't, if that 5-year-old you hadn't watched Oliver?
I mean, it's been everything I've done, ever.
Yeah.
I have no other talent, skills.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
No, I don't. I can't, you know, I can't do anything else. So I would be absolutely sunk if there was no theatre. But I think I live on the border of Wales, right near Hay-on-Wye, which is a very famous, very small town, which is a book town, the first book town. So it's very famous for having second-hand bookshops and a massive literary festival where hundreds of thousands of people come to each year. At one point, there were over 30 second-hand bookshops in this eccentric little town that declared independence from everyone else in the 70s. And a man rode into town, declared himself to be the king of the independent kingdom of Hay, rode in on his horse, declared his horse to be prime minister.
There's been a play of this. We need to make a play of this.
I know. Richard Booth is an extraordinary character, but it attracts kind of eccentrics and anarchists and interesting people. And I think if I wasn't anything to do with music or theatre, I could be happy having a little bookshop in Hay. I think I could do that. I think I could sit there in Hay reading books. I've always loved books and I love bookshops and libraries. And I think I can happily sit there in a second-hand bookshop, you know.
There may be a piano in the corner, right?
There might be a piano, or there'll certainly be a record player and some good coffee.
Yes.
But yeah, I think something like that. I think.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, bookshops. There is something romantic about bookshops.
There is, and maybe it is a kind of, you know, Hugh Grant, Notting Hill idealised version that I've got in my head.
Why not? Why not?
But they are kind of like that. They are magical places.
They are. They take you to the storytelling. It's storytelling again. It's coming back round, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And something about secondhand books as well.
The smell.
Yeah, the fact that, you know, and you buy a secondhand book for your soul. You know, it's not to look good on the bookshelf. It says something and discovering things. I love that about secondhand bookshops as well. That there's no real order to them. You don't quite know what you're going to pull off the shelf. You have to search and you discover things.
It's when you suddenly discover like a signed one or something that they obviously haven't checked. Like I've done that before, and you know it's been a small author that no one really cares about, but I cared because I loved that author. So when I was a child, I loved Joan Aiken novels, and there was a Joan Aiken one that had been signed by Joan Aiken, and I remember finding it, and I didn't find it till I got home that it was signed, and got like, you know, again you discover those little treasures, don't you?
Yeah.
I love that. Well, I'd visit you in your.
Thank you.
I'd buy books there. That helps.
Thank you.
But
Good.
I don't think you need to do that anytime soon. So I think you're safe. Well, thank you. That's been such a lovely journey.
Good. Well, thanks for inviting me. It's been nice to dream up these ideas.
And then we'll put them on. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's basically been a pitch. No. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it for this episode of the Bridge Theatre podcast. A massive thank you to Grant Olding for his time and for telling us all those amazing stories of his life in theatre. Please follow the show wherever you get your podcasts. If it's on YouTube, hit subscribe because it helps us find more people. If you'd like to find out more about the Bridge Theatre, what we do here and the team, then go to bridgetheatre.co.uk. You can even buy a ticket. Thanks for joining us, and see you next week for another episode of the podcast. Bye for now.